a moment here. We're going to exit out of a couple of programs that auto start at the beginning of the day. You guys can go close to you because you might decide to download something. Sorry, trying to do a couple other things as well. Oh, of course, you can't do that while you're actually streaming. That would be ridiculous if you could do that while you were streaming. I was going to see if I could change it to 1080p. But I'm not actually sure if my computer would, or not that the computer wouldn't, but that the internet might not handle it. So we'll just leave that alone. All right. Thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you again to Colonel Panic. He was my latest follower, and he was lurking in chat for a really long time today. Or they actually, I'm not sure if Colonel Panic is male or female, presents male or female. So I apologize. Were in chat for a good long time watching me play, and I blew their ears out at least once. And I am sorry for that. We did buy the DLC because the DLC was also on sale for like half off or something, 60% off. It was only like $1.50 or something. It was less than $2. But we haven't gone to pick that stuff up yet. I think that's going to be back at the hospital. We recently died to a bunch of level 30s down in the sewers, which was not fun. Let's go and do the thing that we have been saying we were going to do, which is actually go do the storyline. The devil? God, she is so loud. Apparently it's this way. There's a box over here. I would like to take... I suppose I can... No, you can't get to it from there either. I want that box. Give me the box. If you ever hear me chuckle at that word, box, there is a rhyme and a reason for it. It's kind of old school, but it is an old slang term for a piece of female anatomy.
Women's right to vote is only the first step. Support the equality between men and women.
Exterior of their place looks a lot like the exterior of Lady Ashbury's place. Hopefully this doesn't turn out to be a bad idea, too.
Do you know where you are standing right now?
In front of the Ascalon Club, I presume.
The Ascalon Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs.
How come I am the only vampire who has flippin' red eyes? You cannot tell me that these people haven't killed anyone.
There has been quite a battle here.
What the? I have a very
I'm
bad
sure
feeling
the
about this.
Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
I have a very, very bad feeling about this. Why can't I? Oh, because there's a thing in your Wi-Fi. Five more shillings. It doesn't seem like there's anything hostile here, i.e., nothing that's going to attack me immediately. So maybe I'm being too cautious? History and purpose of the Ascalon Club. There's a locked door over here. I don't think we actually looked at that. Gotcha. Okay. God, I've got a bunch of stuff that needs to be sampled. Also, I just remembered that oh no, I canceled out of that. That's right.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed.
Yeah, is that all you... I can't actually interact with you. It's interesting, my whole right side is tingly. Kind of like my scalp usually gets when something is about to happen. Or at least I always think that's what it means. And there's been, enough times where that's indeed been the case that I have a bunch of confirmation bias for it. I have the key to the basement. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have that yet. $5 more shillings. Oh, 7 shillings. Don't mind me while I just dismantle your stuff and steal the screws out of it. You won't miss it, right? So the DLC apparently is a new outfit, a new bladed weapon, and I don't remember what the other one was. Well, now we got a good dagger. See, I thought I had gotten all of the weapons, so I went and upgraded a bunch of other weapons. Now I'm feeling pretty
I
stupid
cannot
about it.
enter.
The door is locked. I cannot enter. I have the key to the basement. Was there a door around here somewhere? Not sure that we really want to go into the basement now. Okay, well, this is the backyard, I think. Yes, load speeds are definitely better after having rebooted. Okay, this door to the backyard? Or downstairs, rather? There we go. Anything good down here, guys? Don't mind me while I loot your basement. Yes! No. I misread that. Recreational use for the blood. Right. This door goes nowhere, does nothing. Nope. Um, well, now I can't get back up the stairs. There we go. I thought we, for a second there, when we found the recreational use for blood, I thought we had found the last page of the cure for blindness.
Good evening.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him. Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
She's a close friend, and I'm honored that she feels the same about me.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Why do you suddenly need me?
The Ascalon Club only recruits the best, and you definitely fit the bill. Your scientific and medical reputation alone would qualify you as a candidate.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End. Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed. But first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
No, I haven't.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the Crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members, and I do appreciate obedience.
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all Skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
That doesn't make me feel good.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country. My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation.
Of a squeaky puppy. She isn't really a puppy. She's 8 years old. But she will ever and forever, ever and always be my puppy.
Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
One of us. One of us. Oh, I can move again, can I?
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago. Well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Bearer.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
You were spying on me.
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
Sorry. It was kind of fun killing Fergal when I was finally able to do it.
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary vampire.
No, he was a Volcod. All muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed. Ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied Scowls in London is directly linked
No,
to the
Coda.
epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Scowls.
This is probably going to go badly when I say this.
I have met peaceful and wise Scowls. To exterminate them means we are no better than vampire hunters.
Scowls are
No,
hideous,
Coda.
shameful creatures that give all Ekon a bad name.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
Well, now we have Mesmer level 4. Oh, and I can't talk to these two. Can I talk to you?
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece, figuratively?
You remind me of Ebenezer Scrooge. Also, your hair is going through your head.
It's quite unsettling. As a doctor, I am more used to being the observer than the subject observed.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member, and a dying one at that.
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reed.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
Is not the nature of this club a secret, shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
What do you know about the Guard of Prewin?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
Walls are nothing new, apparently.
But that would segregate the rich from the poor, would it not? It would be unjust.
Our only course of action must be to save England. And to save England, we have to make sacrifices.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
You are wrong, sir. Okay, so now the other door is open to us. Make sure we're not missing anything. Every once in a while you find out that because you went through and did something, a new thing is available. But it does not seem that that is the case here. I really was hoping that I would find the last page of the cure for blindness while I was here. I love how doors in games swing whichever way you're about to walk through them. I don't have a... Oh. I'm inside of it. Has multiple possible sources of infection. Father like daughter. Dr. Swansea has more stuff to say. I actually right now kind of want to... I really wish we had a fast travel option, because all this running is really starting to wear on me. We have 3,600 experience points.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
Yes, I believe that everyone has suggested that so far. No, I don't wanna... I'm trying really hard to not end up myrtleized. There are not a lot of citizens of West End out and about. Woot and boot.
Women's right to vote is only...
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. Awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaney's, a nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Look, there are people.
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to sound selfish.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors
No
I
quota.
thought I'd forget. They're here too. vampires.
Clarence, why have you distributed leaflets about vampires all across the West End?
I have to warn everybody about them. They've killed thousands of people already, unnoticed thanks to the epidemic. We are all in danger here.
Vampires in London? Come on, Clarence. Who's going to believe that?
I'm not mad, Jonathan. You have to believe me. I know they are real. They're all around us, even as we speak.
Clarence, you've always been a reliable and a good friend to me. If you say you saw a vampire, then I believe you.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for your trust. You don't know what that means to me.
It's all right. But if you want my help, you have to explain exactly what happened.
The first time it was in Rouen. I saw an officer drink the blood of a soldier. I saw its teeth, saw it bite. It was a vampire, Johnny, and they're here too.
Tell me what you have discovered about vampires, Clarence.
They've always been here. And if you search for long enough, you realize others know about these devils too. I'm not alone.
What do you mean you're not alone? Who have you met?
The Guard of Prewin, the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, Ichabod Throgmorton. Those names always pop up when you dig deep enough.
Have you spoken with any of them?
No. With the quarantine, it's almost impossible to leave the West End. But as a doctor, maybe you could, Johnny.
Are you asking me to help you prove the existence of vampires, Clarence?
Yes, Johnny. Please, gather all the information you can find about vampires and bring it to me. You're the only friend I have left. I need you.
Have you shared your research with anybody else?
No. But I've published my leaflets all across the city, hoping that someday someone will realize I'm printing the truth.
Clarence, tell me about the vampire you saw in France.
I was enjoying my leave in Rouen. I left the bar, took a shortcut back to the barracks. I saw it in a back alley. An officer in a stained uniform, biting into a soldier's neck.
Did you ever see that officer again?
No. He wore the uniform of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment. I did some research, but found no trace of him. He probably stole it from a previous victim.
But you were drunk, weren't you? Are you sure these two men were not just kissing?
Please don't insult me, Johnny. I hid, and I saw him leave. Then I saw the body, drained of all blood.
No.
I've seen the same marks here in London since I've returned.
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other, and so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece, and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Jonathan is not the man he used to be. By all rights, he's not a man.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Can you help me?
Infection is everywhere these days. But if you ever go to the park near that swanky house belonging to the Mullaneys...
Yes? What about the Mullaneys? What about their house?
Not enough noise for a big family with children. Not enough movement. Closed doors. What is going on in there? I wonder.
Do you need medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
Not really.
What can I say? I haven't lost my old habits.
I hope we're talking about the same habits, old friend.
These are the documents you wanted me to look for. I think I've gathered all the available occult research about vampires.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. That'll help me separate the myths from the facts.
I'm not sure you can consider this material factual, but it's yours now. What do you intend to do with it?
First, I'm going to show them to Venus. It'll open her eyes and make her understand the importance of my mission.
I love it when a plan comes together, even when you didn't know it was part of a plan that you were having come together.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Ooh, look at that. Almost 4,500. That's pretty go-around impressive if you ask me. Don't mind this strange doctor digging around in the
Good
trash.
evening, miss. Can I help you? I'm a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I am Karina Billow. I don't need any doctor.
Really? Because it looks like someone punched you in the face.
The rats.
Miss, you don't seem well at all. Are you afraid of rats? Has one bitten you?
No, it's me who bites them. Tasty, juicy, disgusting rats. I can't stop eating them. Help me, please. Help me to disobey the voice.
What happened to you?
The rats. The answer hides in their little crunchy bones. Their juicy, tiny brains.
Miss Billow, please, try to concentrate. Why do you worry about rats so much?
The voice in my head. He forces me to do so. Drink their blood, he said. Eat their flesh.
Do you feel compelled to obey that voice, Miss Billow? Even if you're loath to submit to it?
Yes. Please. Help.
Tell me about the voice in your head. Who is it? Can you describe it? Is it someone you know? Someone you met?
Keep your mouth shut, he said. Don't ever speak about me, or I'll abandon you. Help me, please, Doctor.
Tell me about yourself, Miss Billow. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm hungry. Need to eat. Have you got something for me? Blood, perhaps? Can you give me blood, Dr. Reed?
Don't you remember who you are, miss? What you did for work?
I was strong, proud. I campaigned for good causes. But that was before. Before. It does not matter anymore. I'm so hungry.
What is the local news hereabouts, Miss Billow?
Shadows. Shadows hunting shadows. Whispers in the dark. Pestilence. Suffering. Death.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
Infection. Infection. The rats carry it, I heard. Rats. 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 Many rats around that big house. Funny smell, too. Dead flesh.
And where is this house?
West of the park. Not very far. A big house with no sound, no light, no life left.
I must go now. Goodbye, Miss Billow.
I forgot to ask her.
Tasty.
Okay, no,
I
never
must
mind.
go now. Goodbye, Miss Billow.
Wait, there was nothing in that trash can? That's weird.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Jonathan, is that you? I did not know you were back in London. Oh, my dear Johnny. I'm so sorry for your loss. Mary was such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Venus. May I come in?
I was going to bed, actually.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. I'm so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece, too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home, too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yes, and it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan, please accept my condolences for your sister.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden, and I feel so guilty I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
Did Clarence recently show you documents that prove the existence of vampires?
Yes, he did. And he also told me you spent a few nights gathering research for him. Seriously, Jonathan. Why feed his obsession like that?
He's my friend. I thought it might help him rest, instead of going outside at night. Tell me, what are your thoughts about vampires?
Gibberish and poppycock. Dracula was a good book, but these documents were just mumbo-jumbo. I burnt them all as soon as Clarence went outside again.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
The McPhersons. I heard they locked themselves in their own house.
They could just be afraid of getting sick.
Perhaps you're right. But if I were you, I'd pay them a visit. A big house, reachable through a courtyard, to the north of the railway bridge.
Goodbye for now.
I remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son. They were such a beautiful family.
As I promptly raid my old friend's house. Locked. Venus's journal. Lost library. The other one has to be over here somewhere. Before I try the door.
At least you survived the Great War.
Yeah, I survived the Great War only to come back to London and be snatched up by some great ancient vampire who seems to think that I am some sort of savior figure.
But at this hour of night?
Alright, let's go check the store. Interesting. Very interesting.
No invitation is needed to enter this building. That can't be a good sign. Emily wanted to... No sign of a struggle. It seems Charlotte's friend knew the killer and let him in. Blood. I should follow the trail.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question.
I'm the Marquis de Bois-Colombes, and I strongly invite you to find your own game, sir.
I appreciate the invitation, but I'm here to solve the mystery concerning the death of a young woman killed by a vampire.
A young woman killed by a vampire? Oh, you're joking, right? Oh, I do love the British sense of humor.
And who exactly are you?
I am Jacques-Michel Guillaume Florimond de Marquis de Bois-Colombes, at your service, my dear cousin.
You're French, but your English is quite good.
I was born in France, sir, but I consider myself a traveler of this world. So many countries, so many tantalizing tastes.
Dear cousin, are we related?
We could be of the same blood, my dear. I tend to consider all Econs as family, don't you?
What are you doing here?
I recently decided to visit London. I've always dreamed of visiting a city on the verge of collapse. Such a delicate, yet intense spectacle.
You take pleasure from others' misery.
I have been a totally depraved and immoral creature since the day I was reborn, sir. And probably before.
What do you plan to do here?
Take pleasure. Take pictures. Enjoy the show. Have fun. Believe me, I won't be the only foreign immortal who bought a ticket to the fair.
I followed the trail of blood from her room to here.
Oh, you're referring to that young woman. Yes, the meeting turned messy. I'm afraid I ruined my last redingote.
So you admit you murdered her?
I admit nothing, my good sir. I only regret the blood of that girl staining my clothes. Oh, blood can be so messy.
What happened?
She wanted to become one of us. Not the first time I have received such a proposal, but I must admit her direct approach tempted me.
And then what?
The body rejected my blood. It happens, you know, sometimes even with voluntary prey. At least her gurglings brought me some fun, until the artery burst.
I'm afraid of this one. I kind of feel like he deserves to die, you know? But that's going to leave me... This is going to leave me really bad.
Your cruelty deserves punishment, sir.
And what else is new?
Ouch. With the level of everything else around me, I should have expected that, and as a matter of fact, I kind of did. Now here's the question. Where did they raise me? Okay, good. Somewhere at least a little safe. Did I already make sure this was open? Yeah, I did.
Countries unite! Women's right to vote is only the first step!
That building is under quarantine. Could this be what I'm looking for?
Probably, but apparently we can't get in there.
Locked, all right.
A silver fork. The only thing that would have been funnier than a silver fork is a silver spoon. I think we need to find a one of our hideouts and go and rest. Yeah. Too far. It's down this way, right? Oh God. We're home. This is Jonathan's home. His childhood home. Because that's his mom. So there's an old legend about dropping a rose in the path of the undead.
Mary? Oh, my dear daughter. How are you tonight? How is your sweet boy?
I'm so used to the name Aubrey being feminine that it took me pretty much the entire letter there to realize it was from his dad.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
But like I was saying, so there's an ancient legend, or well, I don't know ancient, but there's a legend about dropping a rose in the path of a vampire to prevent them, or a ghost to prevent them from following you. It said that they'd be unable to cross such a barrier. More silver forks.
Good evening, Avery.
Mr. Jonathan? I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were... Oh, sir, your poor sister. What a tragedy.
I know, Avery. I know about my sister's murder.
Miss Reed expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan? We needed you here.
How is my mother?
Not well, I'm afraid, sir. Miss Reed is very fragile since the police brought her back home.
The police? What happened?
Miss Reed was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had spoken with her son and daughter. She's resting now.
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip. Somewhere sunny, like France. She has always been very fond of France. I think leaving London could do her good.
I'm afraid Miss Reed is too frail for the moment. Recently, she started going out at night without remembering it. I have to watch her carefully.
Has she received appropriate medical care?
I'm taking care of Miss Reed myself. Hospitals are so overwhelmed by the epidemic that they can only accept patients infected by influenza.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
What is the situation in this part of town?
For a time, the West End seemed spared by the epidemic. But the situation is getting much worse.
Have you no relatives anywhere? I'll understand if you want to take a few days to see family.
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as long as I take care of this house, sir. My sisters are dead, and I've never met my nephews. I'll stay, sir.
I'm sorry I could not be here for Mary's funeral.
Your mother was strong, sir, but your support would have been appreciated. Apart from the priest and I, no one else attended your sister's funeral.
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery. But I'm sorry, I simply could not attend.
I would not dare to question your absence, Mr. Jonathan. All I can say is that we missed you a great deal during these difficult days.
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I live.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir. So my task is not over.
You have served this family extremely well, Avery. Your support during these terrible times is much appreciated.
Then I will stay. All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic. No mass grave, please, sir.
Do you really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jonathan.
You clearly have something more to say. Speak your mind, Avery.
I know you work hard to help the sick, but what will you do once the epidemic is over?
I really don't know. I have always enjoyed seeing new horizons. Once the epidemic is over, it would be nice to leave London for a while.
I understand, Mr. Jonathan, but you have to realize that your mother needs you. Your next departure could break her heart.
I found an old letter written by my father and addressed to me. Do you know anything about it, Avery?
Your father wanted me to give you this letter for your 35th birthday, but you left for the war, and the letter remained in his office until tonight.
I realize now you knew my father better than I did. Do you know why he left, Avery? Did he ever speak to you about his departure?
No, sir. Mr. Reed was not exactly forthcoming. Perhaps this letter will give you the information you require.
I'm currently investigating sources of the epidemic in this part of town. Do you know anything useful?
Not really, except all the MacPherson's servants resigned a few days ago. They feared becoming infected, they said.
The MacPhersons? Where do they live?
I think it's a rich house near the railway bridge in the southern part of the district.
Goodbye, Avery. Please watch over my mother until I return.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan. But please return as soon as possible.
Oh, no, I don't want to leave the house. Maybe I did get everything.
Mother, good evening.
Jonathan! Is it you? Where have you been, my prodigal son?
I'm right here, Mother. I'm finally home.
Yes, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and now found. But where is your sister? Where is Mary?
Mary? She is gone, Mother.
I know she's gone. The question is, when will she return as you have? I miss my grandson so much. It's been days since their last visit.
Mother, do you know what's been going on in this area?
Not really. I don't go out much due to the epidemic, and when I do, I tend to get lost.
What do you mean you get lost? I hope you don't go outside alone.
Of course not. When I go out, your father always comes with me, but he leaves me there sometimes, and I have trouble finding the way back.
Emmeline, honey, your husband's been gone for decades.
Have you returned to Whitechapel Cemetery since Mary's funeral?
I never want to go back to that awful place. Wait. I think I went back once. And you were there too. And Mary? No, that can't be true.
It was just a bad dream, Mother.
A nightmare, yes. Mary was so angry. I walked back home alone. If that kind policeman had not called Avery from the station, I don't know what would have happened.
Tell me, Mother, how are you? All alone in this big house with only Avery to take care of you.
I'm sad most of the time. Sad that you have left me here alone. Sad that you don't tell me when you come or go.
I'm so sorry, Mother.
This is my first time coming.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was coming home. I was home. London, the Thames. And then it happened.
What happened, Johnny?
I died.
I lost my way. Somewhere between the boat and the house, my life changed completely.
You should have told me, Johnny. I would have understood. You always were a secretive little boy.
Do you need anything, Mother? Can I help you?
I just want you to stay with me, Jonathan. Your room is ready. I asked Avery to make your bed.
I'll stay as long as I can, I promise. Do you need anything else?
Just one thing. Stop staring at me like that. As much as I love you, it breaks my heart to look at those empty and dead eyes.
Are you working on a new painting?
Not recently. I have trouble focusing on my subject and my mind quickly drifts. It's the same thing when I try to write poetry.
I recently met a talented painter with an excellent technique. I wish you two could meet. I'm sure you'd like her.
I'd be glad to meet her. What is her name? Is she famous? Is she dead too?
She's not famous, and her name is of no importance. And yes, she is also dead.
The important thing is, I hope you two get along. If she ever fancies meeting your mother, I'd be glad to welcome her into my home.
Do you think Avery is right? Do you think I should take better care of you?
I don't blame you, but you abandoned me, son. A mother should not survive her children. It's unbearable to know you're not here anymore.
I know I have failed you since I returned. I even watched you bury Mary from a distance. From now on, I will protect you. You have my word.
You don't have to apologize to me, Johnny. Do you think I did not notice how much you have changed?
Have I changed that much, Mother? Am I still your son?
You are still, and you'll always be. Despite your pale skin, your bloody eyes, and that echoing sadness in your voice.
Why do you say Mary is visiting you, Mother? You know that's impossible.
Why should it be? Are you not standing in front of me right now? Why should it be any different with your sister?
Because I've killed her twice.
But Mary really is dead, Mother.
Yes. And are you not dead too? Isn't your father dead? And my grandson? And my son-in-law? You're all gone. But you all still visit me from time to time.
But I'm not dead, Mother. I'm really here, talking to you, trying not to cry.
Oh, it breaks my heart to have to tell you this. But of course you're dead, my darling boy. Just look at you, as pale as my Mary.
Father seems to have left me some documents. Some sort of treasure hunt game. Do you know anything about them?
No, Johnny. But your father always loved to write these little games for you when you were a boy. Don't you remember?
I remember now. He used to post me these riddles, as though they were sent by a mysterious games master. I'd spend weeks trying to decipher them.
Your father was always so proud each time you found the answer. He was not just the serious doer banker everybody thought he was.
I was proud too. How could I forget that?
The important thing is that you remember it now. I'll tell your father the next time I see him. He'll be so happy.
Could Father have conceived some sort of final game for me before he left?
I really can't say, Johnny. Perhaps you should talk with Avery about that. He was your father's confidant, more than I.
Goodbye, Mother. Try to rest now.
Goodbye, son. Please come back soon.
Oh, I can't go in that room. All right, so Coda's asking to go outside, and it has been a while since she was outside last, so I'm going to go ahead and let her out. Guys, I will be right back, I promise. Oh, I know, I heard ya. I heard you. We're going. Come on. Come on. All right. So Aubrey has a game for us to play. Green grass, tall trees. Oh, I can't go back into the office? That's the outside. No, that's the office. Oh, the office is upstairs. Green grass, tall trees. I was thinking maybe it was a picture, but maybe not.
Yes, Mr. Jonathan?
Goodbye, Avery.
Oh,
Please
dang it.
watch over my mother until
I forgot to
return.
check on his health.
Of course,
We'll
Mr.
have to.
Jonathan. But please return as soon as possible. Yes, Mr. Jonathan?
Okay, he's healthy. And supposedly we have all of his hints.
Goodbye, Avery. Please watch over my mother until I return.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan. But please return as soon as possible.
I wonder if that would show up in our investigations. Oh wow, we still have 6 people we haven't met. Oh, pardon me. No chance that skull is going to turn around, is there? Good Lord Almighty. Nope, of course not. Oh, good lord. Fuck you, level 30, dude. $5,000 is, I think, worth finally sitting down and leveling up again. I think I have to go this route. $2,000. No matter what we do. Don't have enough for that one. Alright. Youch. I need to go back over here. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fatigue. Does that mean it'll never go down again? So I need 7 fatigue. And that's just to fix Pembroke. So now we have extra. Interesting. Oops. Oh, fully upgraded. Perfect listing. Alright, so I think that I want to make a quick run back to Pembroke. Did I just make a bad choice on which direction to go from?
Why are vampire hunters sniffing around here? I need to find out what they're after.
Darn it, Coda. Ow. Now all of a sudden Coda wants inside again. I shouldn't say all of a sudden, but Coda wants inside again. Oh, that wasn't what I was trying to do. Sorry, Mr. Rat.
For blood. This woman's body has multiple lacerations. They're deep, too. Whoever did this was driven by rage. He had his tongue removed and his eyes gouged out. He was a victim of brutal torture.
5 shillings. Oh, only 2 shillings.
This one's neck is broken. He was young. Probably the son.
You thought I was dead too, didn't you? No, I was just pretending. Doris told me I could have been a great actress.
You killed your family.
They mocked my talent.
Great. That's just what I wanted. Another boss fight. I've never seen such a radical mutation.
Could it be a new stage in the disease's evolution? So, this girl took lessons at the famous Doris Fletcher acting school.
That leads us back into the other. Oh, that was this was one of the sources of infection. See, that's what you get when you don't pay attention. You end up accidentally yourself into figuring something out. I'm on level 29. I have their stuff fairly well memorized, but that was weird. Damn it. I keep hoping that Koda will just decide to stay outside for a while. Alright guys, I'm going to run grab Koda, and thanks to all the liquid I'm drinking, I'm also going to hit the head, so I will be right back. Alright, Papa wants a treat. Yeah, Papa wants a treat. You want a treat? Yeah? You are ready for treats? Well, Mom's getting down to the X. Come, up on the couch. I'm just going to give you the rest of it. It's next to nothing like that. There you go. Oops. Lights out. I don't know why the mic picks up so much noise when I pick up my headset or put it on. It's not like I'm banging it against a bajillion things or anything.
I can't believe I'm doing this. I have this thirst for blood.
Yes, because you're an Ekon.
This is
That's what you guys do.
despicable. I have this
There we go.
thirst for blood.
I think that's how I ended up. Yeah. Nope, that's not the direction I wanted to be traveling. God, everything's just so bloody high level anymore. Where are you guys? That's gotta be a guard of Pre-Wind banging on somebody's door.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. A great night, what?
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Not really. Wait, now that you mention it, I don't see the McPhersons in my favorite restaurants. They love delicate meals too, you understand.
Thank you. It may be nothing, but I'll investigate anyway. Where do they live?
They have a house in the southern part of the district, somewhere north of the railway bridge. There is a courtyard, if I remember rightly.
I may have a look at your goods, Mr. Russell.
Hi there to Popper. Hello, beautiful girl. Did you enjoy your treats? Yeah. Well, good girl. Hey, do you want to talk to us? Coulda. Can you look at your mama? Hi. Do you want to talk to us? Oh, really? You got anything to say? No? You got nothing to say? You got wag your tail, though. Oh, because you always do, huh? Is you the good girl? Coulda. Is you the good girl? Yeah? I love you. What do you mean, no? Rest in peace, everybody's ears. I love you. That's not how you say I love you. I love you anyways, my pretty girl. These are super helpful now. No, honey. Mama is still playing a game. You can bug Mama in like 20 minutes. Can you get your ears? Can Mama get your pretty pointy ears? Sweet pea, I love you very much. There is no... Mama has not had anything to eat since she finished off the chicken fried rice earlier this afternoon. There is nothing over here. Alright.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently? Remember!
Good evening, old chap. Are you all right?
I won't lie to you, Johnny. I'm not a well man.
Oh, you're healthy enough.
Do you realize you are ruining your family, Clarence? Don't you see the risk here?
Money isn't important. Not important when it is a matter of life and death. That is what my dear Venus cannot understand.
People will laugh at you, if they don't already. Think about your wife and your position. Think about your future.
I understand my wife's embarrassment, but gossips don't kill, vampires do. There'll be no future if people don't open their eyes.
I can't believe I'm telling you this, but if warning people is that important to you, why not choose a more efficient way to spend your money?
Don't you think I tried? I knocked at every door, went to every bank, I even tried to be published. No, Jonathan. This is a one-man war.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
This actually, I'm pretty sure, goes right back into the district. Alright, I need to get back up on to where we were. So I went the wrong direction. And we need to go this way? Was it? Yeah. Who are you?
We meet again, Mr. Kimura.
Oh,
In a more
Mr.
peaceful
Kimura.
situation.
Dr. Reed. Still visiting London by night?
We must both be nocturnal animals, you and I. After your captivity, I thought you'd be more cautious.
Breathing the cold night air helps calm my mind, sir. I've had the most frightening nightmares since I escaped that filthy jail.
How is the situation in the West End?
I've heard rumors about armed men patrolling and fighting infected citizens in these very streets. I was lucky they didn't shoot me when I was abducted.
May I ask you what you do for a living, Mr. Kimura?
I was a landlord. A wealthy one. And not a very kind one, I realized recently.
Why this sudden epiphany? Is it because of your near-death experience?
I was already feeling nostalgic about Weymouth, my hometown. With recent events, I'm thinking about going back there.
What can you tell me about your abduction?
If you really want to know, I was locked in that building for 3 or 4 days. My jailer was insane, mumbling about sacrifice and voices.
And why didn't he sacrifice you?
That was the weirdest part. He claimed to spill blood was not enough. It had to be done when some stars were aligned.
Which stars?
That's the whole point. He wanted me to talk to him about some Red Queen configuration or constellation. I've never heard of such an astronomical term.
What did he say about voices?
He constantly whined about the voice of his master, ordering him to do terrible things. He wanted to silence the voice by offering blood. My blood.
Why are you so nostalgic for your hometown, Tadao?
I was focused so much on making money, I almost forgot that my relatives and friends are threatened by this epidemic.
Have you heard anything from your family?
I was not only a bad landlord, I was also a bad husband. I've not seen my wife and son for years. Busy, busy, busy.
At least now you're ready to go back and see them. But don't be surprised if your son bears a grudge, sir.
You make it sound like you suffered from an absent father yourself, Dr. Reed.
You could say that.
Keep your warning in mind.
Have you no friends at all?
Over the years, I'm afraid my greed turned me into my friend's adversary, while I became friends with my professional rivals.
Those you grew up with didn't share your views on money and success.
Would you believe I was once a member of poetry circles and an astronomy club? We were young, such joyful dreamers then. But I stopped laughing long ago.
You poor dear.
Can you change? And is it what you really want? If so, it must come from within, not without.
I've seen what an altruistic gesture can do. Nothing forced you to save me, Dr. Reed, but you did. I will follow your example in these matters from now on.
There is no need to thank me. Rescuing a London citizen should not be out of the ordinary, though I'm afraid it may appear so in these difficult times.
You did not only rescue me, you fought for me. You put your life in danger to save me. That's quite extraordinary.
How will you cope if you're attacked again?
I don't know. I've heard about these men and women who patrol the West End every night, chasing criminals like my abductor. Maybe I should join them.
I would advise against that, Tadao.
Tell me, Tadao, why was your abductor so interested in your passion for astronomy?
I don't know. We met a few times at the Royal Greenwich Observatory. He seemed to share my hobby. Then he invited me to his house and locked me in.
Yes. Astronomy is a fascinating subject. When I was a child, my mother bought a small telescope for my sister and I. We spent many a pleasant evening stargazing?
Stars are not just dots in the sky, Doctor. They are the key to our understanding of the cosmos. They remind us how insignificant we are.
You're right. But children love magic and stories. I remember our mother told us constellations have the power to protect us.
Protection by the light of the stars. That's sweet. You remember the name of these constellations?
Cygnus is a swan. Pegasus, of course, is the winged horse. Draco is a dragon. I'm not sure on the significance of each of them, but I'm going to go with
Draco. My favorite constellation.
Memory's a strange thing. I can recite without hesitation the names of the 88 constellations, yet I barely remember my own childhood.
Did he fake his interest in astronomy to get close to you?
No. In his madness, he spoke about a blood sacrifice to be made to his master when the stars aligned to a specific configuration.
wow. Got all of his stuff in one go. Or more or less in one go.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care.
I almost forgot what it feels like to live an ordinary life.
That's a chocolate shop. Still also trying to find the restaurant for, what's his name? The foodie. Hey, Lunks! Sorry, I hope I didn't keep you waiting on that greeting too long. I get really absorbed into what I'm looking at on the game. How are you and Cue Ball doing? It's Lady Ashbury's place. Monkey Shines. I gotta get past these guys. Oh, good. Good.
See them fancy clothes? This one's a top. I'll send you to hell.
Ooh, one hit. Nice.
I'll send you to hell.
You have more armor, so I know I'm not gonna get you in one hit. I got a bunch of my stuff all upgraded, so... We've had kind of an exciting stream today. Not bad, not bad. A little bit jealous. Of course, I'm not going out mostly from self-imposed, anima child. It's been a few days. I'm still on a personally self-imposed quarantine. I got positively thrashed a little while ago in a room full of level 30s. I want to go and kill everything because I need the experience points since I don't eat people. which I know sounds completely crazy. I also need to get back to Pembroke for a second. We were getting kind of close, I think, to the end of the game. One of these days I'm going to have to go and find out how long it took me to do this. Yak. I don't know if I need that just yet. Alright.
So many deaths. A lot of my own.
There are more than a few people that I have been tempted to eat. That's what Farnham wants me to do. It would certainly increase my level faster eating people, but I'm worried. Oh, have you been around when I've walked past this plant and looked at it and Jonathan has said something like, it needs to be watered? Guess what I found? Ah. Where'd it go? Where are you? Are you over here? Look at. I finally get to water this silly plant.
Done.
Oh, no, I can't look at it anymore. I bought the, there was, what's the word? There was some DLC, and it's on sale for less than $2, so I figured I'd pick it up. So we just got, apparently, a gun, a new sword, and Jonathan has new clothes. Now he's wearing a bowler hat. Yeah, it was. It was very anticlimactic. Done. Could we at least, could something at least have happened to the plant? Could I look at it again? Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the old outfit better, I think. Wow, that's a lot of reading for a piece of DLC sword. It's a lot more stamina. Oh, no, I'll use the same stamina as my... I need 6 more to get the rest of the way. It's not going to be able to absorb as much blood as the saw does. But I could decrease the stamina consumption by a total of 4, which would take it down to 16. Six more. It's 235. So the same damage. But I can either make it 10% more. We should probably bring it up to 240, or I could make it use less stamina, because these would both be 10% increases. Okay, that was just freaky weird. I thought I felt Coda against my calf, but she's nowhere nearby. I still haven't run into any white phosphorus. I don't know where they're getting white phosphorus from. Or sodium hydroxide. Yeah. Apparently. Oops. Dang it, now he looks like the bowler hat guy. I don't want to take this one apart because we got Jonathan's watch back, the one that was stolen from him when he was in the mass grave at the very beginning of the game. I don't want to ruin it. I'm weird like that. I just suddenly remembered that everyone here is sick. I think everybody was fatigued or something. Jonathan, your red sclera really bug me. Yeah, I am a little bit. If there was some way I could take it out of my inventory and put it somewhere so that I would make sure it would never get broken, I would do that. Anything else in here change? Okay. Pretty much everybody in this hospital is fatigued.
It's locked.
Still locked. Haven't walked back in here in a while. Did any of this get refilled? Is everything still locked? Everything is still locked. Darn it, guys. Oh, and my mesmer level is now level 4. I can eat almost anyone I want now. Not that I've eaten anyone since Cox.
Hello, Jonathan. How are things on the West End front?
Complicated, my friend. The rich and powerful feel threatened by the disease, and have asked me to put an end to it.
Yes. It is odd how resolving a crisis suddenly increases in urgency when it affects those who matter.
Yeah, apparently it increases based on where you are in the storyline. So that's 100% how to increase it, is just to move the storyline ahead.
Looks like the epidemic is spreading to the western districts of London. I'm trying to locate the source of the infection.
It won't be an easy task, my friend. This disease is highly contagious.
Do you not think epidemiology could be helpful in this matter? To retrace the origin of infection through time and topology?
If anyone can perform such a miracle, it will be you, Dr. Reed.
Since this epidemic is evidently linked to the vampire curse, we must find the original carrier to understand where it comes from.
I admire your logic, Jonathan, but be careful. Rationality, when it comes to your kind, is not always a reliable lens.
Does the Brotherhood of St. Paul know anything about the Ascalon Club?
Well, I'm afraid that's unlikely. Ascalon is a sensitive topic, and whatever material the Brotherhood has, I may not have access to.
Who could answer me then?
Usher Talltree, our current primate, may be the only one able to answer you. He's a discreet man who lives in the West End.
Do you know Aloysius Dawson, the famous tycoon, is well versed in vampire and occult knowledge?
No, I did not. But that is no surprise. For half a century, it has been quite the trend for English nobility to join secret societies and occult circles.
But Aloysius Dawson is only a rich merchant.
Yes, richer than Croesus. Wealth is more respected than title these days, even in England.
Did he contact the Brotherhood of St. Paul? Try to join your group?
It would not surprise me, but I am certain he's never been a member.
Thank you for your time, Edgar.
Can somebody find me the last piece of the book for the curing of the blind? Let's see. Jonathan certainly looks like he's probably warmer than he was before. That's at least an improvement.
I'm sorry that these sad... Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Do you need medical attention?
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company, even if the quiet can be appreciated.
Don't take
Everybody
too
in
many
this
risks
district
with
is
your
sick
health,
again.
Mr. Chidana. None of us are immune to this disease.
And that is a good thing. Death and disease is a constant reminder of our mortality. But you have my thanks, Dr. Reed.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Let's see here. I still need... Yeah, I still need those. It's terrifying, but I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm not gonna do it. I have spent so many shillings lately, it's not even funny. You fully up? No.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
I will be fine, as soon as I can get some sleep.
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick. Take this, and do try to get some rest.
I'll try, Dr. Reed. Thank you.
According to the report I read, your unprofessional conduct put a patient in danger, Gwyneth.
That's not true. I know when my patient's life is at risk, and I'm more competent than a lot of doctors that I know. Problem is, I'm a woman.
I don't see what your gender has to do with your abilities, nurse.
Yes, nurse. Because I'll never be a doctor, no matter what my skills. I could make a decision that could save a life, but oh no, that's unbecoming conduct.
Have you heard of Elizabeth Blackwell? She was the first woman listed on the UK Medical Register. Change is slow, but it will come. And you will always have my support.
To have the right to study shouldn't be determined by sex, skin, or wealth. That's all I'm saying.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Where is Dr. Tippett? 99% sure he's sick too.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Nurse Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist bullshit. I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life. She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Believe me, Dr. Reed, a time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
He's still got what I need. And he's not sick.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
What about you, Milton? Do you need medication?
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid I do. Like everyone in this hospital. It's a sad state of affairs when even the hospital workers are worried about disease.
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no shame in being ill while you're in a hospital.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. I get the feeling you don't fall sick often. Thanks, anyway.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
I finally have to start buying these. Okay. I'm still not really sure I'm ever going to use a gun, but... Okay. Now for inside of the hospital.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wish I could be sick again. I feel my blood boil with the fever.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
Not really. I think I caught something in this bloody hospital. I swear I'm dead, yet smiling inside, Dr. Reed.
As long as you remain here, I will make sure you don't have to worry about your health.
Don't think you can do much about it. Damage is done.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
Let's see here. How about you, Pippa?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Yep.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Damn. The pain.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
I'm sure you are, but you need medicine.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm capable of dealing with this myself. I've just not taken the time to do so.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so. Consider it a gesture of solidarity between professionals.
I wish this hospital could have received as much attention from you, Dr. Reed. We do not see you in surgery very often.
Are you really sure you want to see me in surgery? I think I said that the last time I spoke with him.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
I made almost the same whole full quip. The last person I tried to perform surgery on.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
Not only did I lose the guy, but very nearly ate the guy.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
No news on your operation. But
Is
here.
there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
Really? Why has no one else asked me that since I got here? I thought I was in a hospital.
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help. And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right, Dr. Reed. I'm sure if me missus was still alive, she wouldn't be happy with me going on like this.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Right. She eventually turned into a scowl, and I had to kill her. That was not fun. And that was all because of the choices I made in our conversation. I'm pretty sure if it weren't for the choices I made in that conversation, she would still be alive.
Don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Better than you.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this? No, I don't feel well, actually.
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you recover.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Let's see here. Is that everybody? Yep, we got everybody. It's kind of funny. I want to eat them list has gotten much shorter. There was a point in time I wanted to eat both of these two because they turned out to be kind of terrible people. I kind of want to eat her because she's a terrible mom. I don't know how I feel about Mortimer because he already tried to commit suicide, and that just makes me sad. I kind of want to eat Booth. But, you know, every person you eat affects the entire web of people in the district, and it can just be really bad. This district says it's sanitized. I don't know if that means it will never drop again or not. I kind of hope it does, because then I could sleep with certainty of knowing that I don't have to worry about making meds for that district again. Let's see. Has anything on the map changed? Not really. We were working on... Let's see here. We need to find a restaurant. We need to find a way to save her from a whole bunch of level 30s. We need to save Lady Ashbury's daughter's... It's terrible. Okay, I have a high enough mesmer level now. I could use the experience points too. Is she in recovery? Is she already worth her full experience points? Yeah. I screwed up part of her hints, so she's not worth full experience points, but she's worth enough.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Good evening, sir.
So we have to find somewhere good to eat her. There's always apparently this little line that we can follow. There you go. Terrible mom has been
I
eated.
died before my son. I died before my son. No. He needs me so much.
Yeah, we got a small key. I wonder what it goes to. The district will soon suffer the consequences of your actions. No. How does Rakesh not hear that?
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Yep, now we just need to figure out where that key goes. Alright, let's go back and visit Mortimer again.
As for me,
Good evening, sir.
you're an idiot.
Doctor.
So what do you suppose those keys went to?
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
His mother's
Your mother
blood's still fresh on my mouth.
Don't you share her hope for a better future?
No. I don't.
Won't you even try?
Do you want me to promise you I'll get better? Do you want me to tell her the same thing?
You
I
can't
could,
tell
but
her
it would not
anything
change
anymore, my
anything.
son.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Where in the 9 hex do I use these keys? Right, but where? I suppose I'll have to look that up. You know what else? I really kind of now I'm in the mood to eat Pippa, but that seems like it would be a bad idea to eat 2 of them in one night, especially since Pippa actually has really close family. Well, she's in a relationship with Milton. I suspect that might be noticed unless I eat Milton too. Alright, I need 5 more good handle parts. Yeah, it's the one thing that I don't get a lot of are the keys to things, because I don't eat a lot of people. Like, there's a locked thing over by Rakesh that I can't open because I need a key. It should be a little easier to take on level 30s now. And now we'll find out what the... No! Oh, that's just sad. My game crashed. Who knows where it's gonna be, too, when it comes out of this. Okay, it looks like it's after I went to sleep. So, yeah, because she's dead. Mortimer's tired. Newton Blight is tired. Yep. So even though this was sanitized, they now have a headache and a cold. So I need a fatigue, a headache, a cold. Nothing's changed over here, so that's good, I guess. And it doesn't look like anything's changed over here, so we'll go take care of Mortimer. Oh, Pippa's got a cold too. So we need fatigue, 2 colds, and a headache, and another cold. So fatigue, 3 colds, and a headache. Hopefully I have enough stuff to make all of that. I think I have... Yeah, I still have 5 fatigues. I have 4 colds. Okay. I haven't had to use some of these, but I made them anyways. Can't make any more of that one. Okay. Yeah, it could have been. It, you know, yes, it sucked. It could have been so much worse. My whole computer could have started on fire or something. What? Mortimer, what are you... What?
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
How are you feeling tonight?
As selfish as it sounds, the death of my mother forced me to stop drowning in self-loathing. It's almost like she saved me after all.
Why stay here, since you're feeling better?
I must admit I feel comfortable around here, despite the epidemic and all the sick people. Actually, I feel like I could help finance this place.
Finance the hospital? That's quite generous of you.
Let me be frank with you, Dr. Reed. I hope this cash injection will incite the hospital administration to forget about my situation.
I suspect you're not from the East End. Where are you from?
I've always lived in my mother's house, by Holland Park Avenue. I don't know if I'll go back there now, not after everything.
What is your plan now your mother is gone?
In fact, I truly don't know. Oh, I've been a terrible son. But now I'm feeling more alone than ever. And I don't know what is waiting for me next.
It's the same for us all, Mortimer.
I don't know if I'll ever have my mother's strength. But I can try.
Do you really feel better since your mother died, Mortimer? Or are you just more adept at hiding your despair?
I'm beyond despair, Doctor. But I know now I will not try to kill myself again. It's like the loss of my mother gave meaning to my pain.
Your mother did not die because of you, Mr. Goswick.
Are you sure?
No, she died because of me.
If I had tried to kill myself, she wouldn't have brought me here.
Ellen. No, she still died because of me.
I've read your letter, Mortimer. You wrote about a feeling of utter despair, of the world crumbling around you. Do you still feel these things?
Yes. When I saw my dead mother, I realized why she feared so much to see me dead. Because she could not bear the pain. I get it now.
What do you get?
That mankind is as selfish as it is generous. As a species, we all are as beautiful as we are disgusting.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I wonder if there's a list anywhere of
Goodbye, Mr. Goswick.
citizens who are relatively safe to eat, and at which point are they relatively safe to eat. Because I kind of want to eat Pippa.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm afraid I've contracted some illness, Dr. Reed.
Not under my watch, nurse. Take this. You'll feel better.
Oh god, there is a
Dr.
list.
Reed.
Oh god, no. Now I'm really tempted.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Let's see here. Nigel's outside. I'm not sure if I really want to know who's on the list and where they are on the list when they're on the list. But at the same time, I really do, because I could use the experience points. Also, though, there's the added problem of the more people I kill, the more red my eyes are going to get.
Good evening.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Now you're Oswald. I don't really need to.
Are you concerned about the conditions here in London?
Not really. Sick people, men in arms, fighting every night. I already faced all this during the war.
Do you need medical attention?
Oops,
No
wrong
thanks.
button.
I've had enough of doctors to last a lifetime.
That's fine, Oswald. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take care of yourself.
God, morbid curiosity has me wanting to go and look at the list.
Hello again, Mr. Blight.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. You doing your rounds as usual?
Are you concerned about the living conditions in the city?
Of course I am. I'll be stuck here for as long as Oswald refuses to go to hospital. And, unfortunately, it seems the violence is rising.
What kind of violence?
I believe people have armed themselves and started to attack those that show signs of contagion.
Kind of,
Do you
yeah.
need medical attention, sir?
Afraid so. In the war, I was always worried about picking up something, getting some infection. Unfortunately, got that fear in London now.
Throughout history, some diseases have done more damage to armies than any weapon created by man. You are wise to be careful.
You're working at the Pembroke Hospital, aren't you? That's a good enough reason for me and Oswald to go there.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself.
Okay. Portraits. How did you get in there?
It's locked, all right.
Darn it, you have the key, don't you? I'd have to embrace one or both of you to get in there.
I can't understand why you still care for this bloody city.
For God's sake, we're still alive and healthy. Can't you be satisfied with that?
We have no reason to be here. I have not survived being buried in a mass grave for these trivialities.
We are not in the middle of a battlefield anymore. Things are different here.
Darn it.
So many ways.
Okay, and there's no eavesdrop. I know I'm gonna hit an invisible wall if I try to open or enter when they're exiting. Yeah, invisible wall. There is a box over there. Okay. Apparently, Dr. Tippett is good to embrace, but the reasoning behind it that they have is just because of his low mesmer level. Because it's only a 2, and he's worth like 5,000 experience points. Let's see here. Oh, wow. So embracing people does change. Yeah, she got turned into a skull. I had to kill her. That sucked. She, I guess, was supposed to be, or was most likely safe to embrace when I interviewed her or was mesmerizing her to make her forget what she was doing. Yeah, there are so many options right now that I wish I could go back and redo. Like, I would have embraced Crane if I had known she was going to get turned into a skull from me doing what I did to her.
Easy does it, boys. We can deal with this, Vermin. Want some of that? Oh, that's not smart. Christ, he's dead!
Let's see. Trying not to run around. Yeah, and I'm trying not to let myself get distracted by them because I've been trying to play without looking at things like that.
Last warning, Sherman! Kill it!
Let's see. So many things that need doing. Picked the wrong side for the door. Okay. Now... Oh, okay, you're not the entrance to the place I need. How about you? Nope. Finest quality what?
Women of all countries unite!
Eep. Oh yeah, I know who you're... That's the Ascalon Club. We don't need to go in there. I don't get why all of London's doors have their doorknobs in the middle of the door. That does not make sense to me. Ouch. Seriously, dude. Okay. Back into mainline quest. Except it looks like I've already plundered this place. Yeah, and because I've killed even one person, 2 now, that means that I will not get the best ending. So there's like a genocide ending and a kill no one ending. Stop puking on me, lady. Really? Did you just explode that barrel by landing in it? See, I didn't know any of that when I started this game at all. Like, I didn't know there were multiple endings. I didn't really know anything about it other than the setting. That it took place in around 1918 in London. And that it was about a fantasy version of the Spanish flu. honestly, when I bought it, I also didn't think that I would end up being even remotely good at it. Remarkable pump action shotgun. So does that mean it doesn't require any upgrading at all? Yeah, because it's already purple. So it might need one level of upgrading. Yeah. Not that I've been using guns at all. I've actually been actively selling my shells and bullets. Which I suppose might come back to haunt me. Oh god, there are... Great, I have to go up against 2 nearly level 30s at once.
Fucking pathetic pig!
No. Let me out of the splash zone, please. God, this is ridiculous. If you're going to put somebody up against 2 bosses at once, you can't make them both flippin' so high level. Ack. Ow. That really sucked. Is it really the only thing that I'm going to get out of this? Okay. Well, that's still not a lot. Okay, that is so not PG-13. Off screen. Thank you. Goodbye.
So the husband had an affair with Doris Fletcher.
Come on, somebody give me the last page of Braille so that I can take that
Doris
to the
Fletcher
blind guy.
seems to be the missing link here. It can't just be a coincidence. I should go to her acting school.
Yeah, good luck with that. Have a good night, Lunks. Yeah, I did make it. And actually, I should call it quits for the night, too. So, thank you, everybody who stopped in tonight. I appreciate it so much. You guys mean the world to me. It helps keep me focused. I really appreciate that so much. Thank you to my new subscriber, Colonel Panic. I appreciate that you stopped in and joined me today. Thank you to all the members of my pack. I appreciate you. And even when you're lurking, you guys are amazing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the views. I appreciate it. Have a great night and happy Halloween.